Hello, I'm ABX Toycat and welcome back to another video on the internet. So it turns out when Mojang reveals one of the biggest updates we've seen, we not only get a huge update reveal, but we also get a huge number of questions about what exactly is happening in that update, from small questions about tomatoes to huge questions about how copper is fundamentally going to work. We have answers to those questions directly from developers, and in today's video I wanted to go through and answer some of those. So let's dive straight into it with the very first and key question, because if you watch Minecraft Live, you might be confused by the whole segment about tomatoes. Yeah, they really did have a big segment where they spoke about tomatoes, and although it was part of something called Creator Tools, the fact that it was sandwiched in between the two parts of the cave update reveal confused a lot of people. So just to clarify, even though they showed off tomatoes and tomato seeds and throwable tomatoes, it was as part of a update to Minecraft Bedrock's Creator Tools. They want to give map makers, they want to give modders and coders more access to Minecraft directly through the add-on interface, basically mods without having to have mods, to put things simply, and that is what the tomatoes were showing. They were showing how you could make entirely new items with new functionality as part of the Creator Tools. But just in case you don't want to take my word from it, although this isn't actually my word, it's me saying the advice from the page, here is Jason Major, the very developer who was on stage for all of that, saying, well, that was fun, just remember, rotten tomato monsters aren't coming to Minecraft. These are examples of what creators are able to make. The number of people who have been confused by this, honestly, as I was watching it, I was like, it seems like that's confirmed. I could only work out from context that this was Bedrock developers talking about something called Creator Tools, that it wasn't, and so I can see why so many people have this question, and thank you for asking, Doc Battle. But let's move into a more important one, because this was one of the most upvoted comments on my last Q&A. Mitchell Abercrombie says, Jeb, we want to add things with a purpose. Also, Jeb adds in a new passive mob every update with no purpose. And, excuse you, Mitchell Abercrombie, I think you'll find that if you look at the 1.17 update, there's actually two passive mobs with no purpose. That is genuinely true. We have not only the goat, but we also have the glowing squid. A squid, which, by the way, just to clarify, the squid does not actually glow, only its eyes do. That is a real confirmed thing from the mob vote. We have voted in squids with glowing eyes. What have we done? Why did we do this? Anyway, so ignoring that, let's clarify. I personally think that, yeah, there are too many passive mobs. Look at the turtles or the dolphins in the aquatic update. Look at the pandas in the 1.14 update. Look at the, llamas from 1.11, and we can go on endlessly about useless passive mobs. Some people think they give the world more flavor, but I think for flavor to work, it has to be a good flavor. You can't just be like, hey, we've introduced a new flavor of Coke. It's Coke currency. It tastes like coins. Don't you miss coins because of the coin shortage? Well, we've made a beverage that tastes like it. And it's like, that's not a real flavor, is it? That's not adding anything to the world. That's just making something, that's just adding a new flavor to your category, making arguably the existing flavors more diluted as a result, because fewer flows will be on sale. I don't know where this analogy was meant to go, but I'm trying to say that passive mobs of no purpose are dumb. They need to give the glow squid an interesting drop. They need to give the goat some interesting behavior. If they don't do those two things, they'll fall into the trap, which we've seen over and over again. But that's enough for that, because that wasn't even technically a question. So let's move into another entire non-question, because Griffin4Cats makes a really a good response to one of my things I said last week, because I said the only thing we've seen to suggest the height limit increase is this picture right here. Actually, in the video showing off cave generation, we saw redstone ore generate at least 20 blocks above the bottom of the lake, but redstone only generates at Y16 or lower. Both this and the mountain together would suggest a height increase. And yes, you're right that if they moved up all of the terrain by 50 blocks, then even a mountain, which only went up to 200 or 210 or so, would go up above the height limit, so that's a salient point right there. However, bear in mind that the reason you might have seen redstone there, not only was it a development build, so it's not proving too much, but they have basically said they're going to be playing around with the generation of all of the ores. They want to make ores something where there is a skill element of finding them. It sounds like from all of the words we've seen so far, if you want to explicitly look for gold, you can look for gold in Minecraft right now, but if you want to explicitly look for lapis, or you want to explicitly look for redstone, that is very tricky. I imagine by making them generate in certain caves more than others, in certain biomes more than others, in certain areas, more than others, perhaps the watery caves could have more, redstone, then that is something that could see redstone generation change. Just bear in mind, pretty much anything you can assume about the current underground, with very few exceptions, won't carry over to this new update, and, you might get a lot of upvotes by saying that, but, we've heard that they're changing a lot of things, and, KMB asks, does this update meet your expectations? after seeing the update reveal, are you satisfied with the things they showed, or do you think the update still needs a bit more to be truly great? And it's a good question. Honestly, right now, it's looking so huge that, like, even before we start seeing more stuff, it's looking great. I mean, honestly, just give me new cave types, give me new cave biomes, and I am happy alone. That is enough to make my year with an update, let alone before we start adding all the other stuff. This update makes me very happy, but thank you for asking. But you know what, we have to talk about real questions about real update stuff, or people are going to say we're getting too subjective in a series where we're answering questions in a commentary style format. But with that said, let's move into the next question, which comes in from George, who says, do you think Mojang will listen to the community more after this update, considering this has been clamored for so long? It is clear to me that we now have basically a new generation of Mojang employees who are being vocal and being, kind of sharing their stuff about this update. We have, Lady Agnes kind of heading up the kind of vocal community team now, and then we've got people like the Allrafts, we've got people like the Henrik Niebergs, we've got the King Bee Dogs, the etc. of the world, and although not all of them are new to Minecraft development per se, a lot of them are new to very publicly sharing that, and I think based on the way they're directly soliciting feedback and then directly taking that feedback, it seems as though Minecraft is very much going to focus on very community-heavy things. They're not going to do things that are heavily, requested if they feel like it doesn't follow the rules of Minecraft. There's a big game development guide, but it seems to me like they are following the community more and more, which is a good thing in my opinion. But you know what else is a good thing? TM3's question, I guess it's just time with a 3 at the end, although their username is Ketchup. So would you like to see a more rare overworld ore that's better than diamond but only obtainable, say, in a place near lava? For instance, lava ore that doesn't burn when placed into lava and does fire damage against enemies, but it's very rare. Ren my dearie Hadlol, love the video. So I love this, and I'm going to continue my theme of being honest rather than being polite and explaining why most community ideas are pretty awful and why you need to sometimes not listen to a community, because this idea that you've suggested right here is just neverite, except you've discussed that it's neverite, that it can exist in the overworld. And the reason they're not going to do this is because it would be power creep if it was better than neverite, and if it's not better than neverite, then what even is the point? I think the idea of a new ore is a great idea. I'd love to see something as well as copper, but I think lava ore, I think, the most basic ideas that people jump to are like, what if this thing but better? I think the things they really want to focus on are brand new things, and to prove that, how about we dive into this key question right here? Because a lot of people are asking things about copper, like what if copper's like stone tools but with higher durability? What if copper and iron can be mixed together to make an alloy that's better? We have so many questions about copper, and we actually have a direct clip here from Allraf, one of the Minecraft developers, talking about what he wants to do with copper.
An item like iron that is going to progress and have many uses down the line.
Yeah, I would
Mhm.
love to do that. I think I saw a video recently by, I think it was IBX Toycat maybe or something, talking about the fact that it feels like the beginning years of Minecraft had a lot of features that are small but sort of fundamental and were updated on. And
Yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah.
like lately, it was more things that are sort of contained a bit, right? So I
Mhm.
actually I love that what you said, Echo. I think I would love to see that progress and getting more interesting as we go along with updates. I think the same way I feel the same way about archaeology, for example. I feel like I want the feature to not be huge right now because I want to add more to it in the future.
So first of all, I think it's insane to see a Minecraft developer say that he watched one of your videos and takes a phrase from it. Blows my mind. I think that's really cool. But ignoring my personal response to this, it's interesting because he says that something about Minecraft they want to kind of bring back the feel of older updates that are much more acclaimed than the newer updates is because they add things that are fairly simple but have a lot of complexity that can be built on in future updates. Whereas if you think about parrots, if you think about like concrete, for instance, these are things that are self-contained within their same updates. There are so many features that were added to Minecraft that haven't been touched since, whereas the great thing about Minecraft is how all of the features interact with one another. That's what kept the game going great for so long, and that's something they're trying to bring back. So cop-up, even though it might start really simple, it might just be for lightning rods and telescopes, and then maybe some other weird, block. The blocks are good enough by itself, but then they can revisit it later down the line, and the fact that at least one developer developer, even Ulraf, is looking at that and trying to see stuff like that, gives me promise for future updates, because it means that when copper comes out, it's not going to be finished forever. If there is a good way to include copper in a future update, then they will totally do that as well. With that said though, let's move into the next question, shall we? Because you know what, this isn't even a question, but I wanted to mention, because in my last video, I made a mistake. I said emeralds were the last ore added to Minecraft 9 years ago, and Wesley Arnold says, holy damn, emeralds were 9 years ago? Oh damn, I can't be that old. I would like to issue a correction. It wasn't 9 years ago that emeralds were added. That was my mistake. As you can see right here, emeralds were actually added May 24th, 2012, so it's actually only 8.5 years ago. I'm very sorry. I said it was 9 years since the last ore. It's actually been 8.5, which, as we all know, is a pretty reasonable time between ores. Okay, I'm being very sarcastic. You get my point. But yeah, it's been 8.5 years since we saw a brand new ore, which is crazy to me, but it shows why people are having the exact same reactions, because it's not often we see brand new things in the underground, and I'm hoping the cave update is an opportunity to add more of those. But again, we just know that they're playing around with existing ores. We know copper is going to generate different to existing ores as well, and you know, maybe something else comes later down the line. But you know what you're wondering? It's not about you know, new ore types. You're probably wondering about new dungeons like Zen over here. Do you think we'll see new dungeons in the cave update? It would be a perfect time for them to be updated. They'll have to fix their spawn locations anyway because of the different generation, and it's true. They will have to fix the dungeons in at least some way, right? Like the way dungeons will generate will change in 1.17 at a bare minimum, because even keeping everything else the same, if you change the way caves generate, you'll change the way that dungeons generate. At least that's how they work on Bedrock. So you know, how exactly you know, will dungeons change in 1.17? Well, we saw them directly respond to someone who said, oh yeah, will you be able to locate dungeons using the locate command? And they were like, yeah, that would be a good idea. They didn't confirm directly it's happening, but they said it would be a good thing they want to look at. And as a result of us knowing that, we can have a good idea that they're going to look at the dungeons. They might do very, very minor changes just to the back-end code. They might do some very, you know, forward changes to the front-end part of dungeons, because dungeons are one of the cool underground features that you can find down there. It'd be weird if they kept the 2010 dungeons while having 2020 caves. Maybe they do decide to do that to not update too much at one time. I mean, we just had a Nether update, but they decided the Nether fortresses from 2011 were good enough. So, you know, maybe they think that keeping the classic thing there won't alienate as many people. We don't know for sure, but it is something I figured I'd bring up. But last question today is from Amaral Willows, and I thought this was a bit of a meme comment at first, but you know what? Let's go through it anyway, because the thing is, the cave update has become my entire identity. Like, men only want one thing, and that's a Minecraft cave update has been regularly used as part of my dialogue for the past 3 years-ish. I constantly meme it. My friends have introduced me as Minecraft cave update enthusiast. Most of my social media profiles mention somewhere that I genuinely advocate for Minecraft cave updates. As awful as it is to say, it's become a central part of who I am and a legitimate hyperfixation for me. While I'm incredibly excited for it, I don't know entirely what to do with myself anymore. I know this is the biggest first world problem somebody could have, but it really does feel like some form of surreal fever dream. So the question here is, like, there is something I've made a core part of my identity, and that thing has passed on, or that thing can no longer become a core part of my identity. What do I even do about that? And honestly, it's a super useful growing message in general. I think the crazy thing is, like, yeah, we are sometimes defined by others by a simple thing like, oh yeah, you're the cave update guy, and that is great and fine, but the truth is, you might think that, all these people that know me as the cave update guy, what are they going to think of me now? And although they're probably going to remember part of that, the truth is, you can change your identity pretty fast. They're not all going to be thinking like, oh, why is this guy really into, you know, Quidditch now? Because that's going to be your new dumb addiction. You know, whatever you get into, don't make it a fictional sport from a children's novel from you know, a dozen years ago. But like, all I'm saying is you can easily redefine your identity. It seems like it's very rigid, and to some people it will be. Like in 2 years from now, someone's going to be like, "Didn't you really want that cave update? Wow, you must be so happy." But the truth is, you can change very quickly. You can change very fast. And yeah, I actually have this like personal worry myself too. Like, it's something I can totally relate to, because the cave update has been like a bit of it's something I've been pushing for years, because I love caving in Minecraft, but caving just hasn't changed. Everything about Minecraft has changed. New blocks, new mobs, new everything, but caves have remained the same. It's something I've been so passionate about for years. Early, one of the videos I actually had planned, obviously COVID kind of threw a spanner in this wrench, but I was going to go to American universities with a microphone and just ask people, random strangers, like, so do you think Minecraft needs a cave update? And obviously most of them would be very confused about what we're talking about, but I thought that was the best idea for a video. I had it all planned out. I even went to a couple university campuses campuses to make sure, like, you know, it's very easy to just go onto one in America. But anyway, you know, I'm going off point. I totally feel the idea of, like, what happens when a big thing that you like and care about is taken away. But, you know, it's a moment of personal growth. You don't have to be defined by this one thing. And honestly, people who know you well enough don't define you by that one thing. Your real friends know you as a deep, complex person. And although there's going to be some strangers who know you by that one facet, there are many other great things about you, Amarara, Willows. Actually, you know what? You could be a serial killer. This could be the one thing that people are like, you know what? He's super weird, but, you know, when he talks about a cave update, he makes some salient points. Maybe they'll hate you forever. But probably not, because people will let you redefine your view of them in your head. You can redefine yourself at any point you feel like, because you are ultimately in control of how people see you. They might, you know, like, take a while to follow, might take a while to update, but we are sponges. We absorb new things all the time, and people can absorb you sometime soon. Is that actually how I want to end this video? Yes, it is. Thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this week's Q&A Saturday. If you have a question for the next one, leave it in the comments down below. But for now, I hope you all enjoyed, because I'll see you in a few weeks from now. We're going to do Store Saturday again next week. I like Store Saturday. I've missed doing it. There's a lot of stuff that's come out that I'd love to check out. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you for some more cave update news, and tomorrow for a live stream, probably, maybe, definitely. We'll find out. Okay, goodbye.